Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Jake Gordon. In this segment, in the next two segments, we are going to talk about the biggest threats to the Braves in the National League, starting off with the one that everyone's going to talk about, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, if you just go by regular season and what's going on right now, these are the two best teams in baseball. It looks like they're on a collision course, but that's not usually how it works in the playoffs. Like, it looks like this is destined to happen. And listen, this is quiet. I'm not even going to say quietly. This has become one of the best rivalries in baseball out of division. Like, we've played several times. We've both beaten each other. We both won World Series, even if the Dodgers was a little Mickey Mouse one. But we can't technically take that away from them. Now, you just got to play how you got to play. But this team, to me, when we're talking about threats, the only way we possibly meet them is in the NLCS. We're both going to get the first round buys. We're both clear of everyone. 7-game series I've talked about. I think the Braves are going to be in a good position in a 7-game series. It's going to be very tough to beat them. I think the best teams usually win the 7-game series. They've got two great players. They've got a very top-heavy lineup. I don't love their starting pitching. Their bullpen isn't as good as we've seen in the past when the Braves have beaten them. To me, the Dodgers are a team that I want to play. I know a lot of people might not think that way, but I look at the Dodgers and I say this is a team in a 7-game playoff series that's going to have some problems.
Yeah, 100%. It mostly has to do with the injuries they've had to their rotation. That's out of their control. But Walker Buehler's been out for the year. Tony Gonsolin just had Tommy John. Dustin May, I believe, is still out. Yeah, he's done too.
Urias is having the worst year of his career. Like, it's just
their rotation has just been ravaged. But make no mistake, I mean, they can still hit. they can still hit. Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. I mean, outside of Atlanta, I'm biased, but I think that's probably the best one-two punch at the top of an order in the entire league. I mean, and then they got Muncy behind them. Like, they don't have a shortage of talent. And I mean, yeah, they're a good baseball team. Like, this is something I wouldn't expect anything less. You know, you talk about, you know, teams that are going to be in the conversation every year. It's really the Dodgers, and they're a very well run organization. They have a great farm system. Like, they still have one of the top farm systems in baseball, despite trading and graduating so much talent.
You got Gavin Lux, who's out for the year. Like, he's missed the entire year. Like, they should be a better team than they are, and they're still doing this. I mean, we talked about
they still have the third best record in baseball.
Yeah, we were talking about this at the beginning of the season. I think their win total was at like 91.5 or 93.
It was 95. I took it.
Yeah, it was so easy. I was like, dude, this is free cash. And I don't care who's like, they just have so much talent. You talk about their farm system. I mean, it's one of the best in baseball, and it's been one of the best in baseball for the last decade, despite the fact that they win every year. Like, they are a fantastically run organization. And when it comes to regular season baseball, they are an absolute machine. It doesn't matter who's playing. They know how to win games. But as we've seen, people want to call the Braves chokers. The Dodgers have been the biggest chokers in baseball. They have not been able to get it done. The only time they were able to get it done is with no fans. I always say you put fans in the stadium. You put fans in the stadium in October, the Dodgers shrink. We'll see. It's a different team. It's a different team than we've seen in the past. A few of the same pieces, but obviously Freddie's newer there. Mookie's hasn't been there forever. A lot of the guys in the past, and this rotation is something. I mean, the guys that are going to come out of their rotation are guys like we play them this weekend. You're going to look at the rotation and be like, who's starting pitcher for the Dodgers? Who? Like, but then they'll go out there and shove. Like, it's still a talented starting rotation.
Yes, no, I agree. And that's the thing too with LA. Yeah, you're right.
I just died.
You talk about other guys choking. Jeez, man. No, I will.
Yeah, I actually did that on purpose, talking about them choking. That was on purpose. That was part of the shtick.
Yeah, that, like I said, you still have to be, you know, I guess, wary of them. The thing is, I think it'll be interesting to see, like, if the Braves do beat them in the playoffs this year, are we going to see kind of a shift in dynamic? Because for the longest, it was anytime the Braves saw the Dodgers in the playoffs, bounced instantly, not a chance, not even competitive. For pretty much a decade. The times we did make the playoffs, we had those down years. They really didn't. But yeah, I mean, is the tone going to shift? Like, if we meet them in the playoffs this year and we bounce them, like, you know, that's the last two. And, you know, the first one was a lot more exciting, I think, than I would have liked it to be. But who knows? I think you could see kind of a tonal shift between these two.
I definitely think there was the hump that was the Dodgers, and it was a mental hurdle that I think a lot of teams have to get over when they win a World Series. The Braves got over it last time, and I think that's another reason why I want to play them. I feel like they're over that hurdle. I think, and it's not a mental hurdle, but the team we're going to talk about next, I think they got over that hurdle last year, and we'll talk about that next. I think everyone knows who I'm going to be talking about. But I do think like we had to get over that mental hurdle. We got over it. Now there's a feeling like, hey, not only do we belong, like we should beat these guys. Like we are better than these guys. And I don't think the Braves are going to go into any series not knowing that they aren't the best team in baseball because they played like it all season. But I think they got over that hurdle, and I think that's important.
When you look at the rotation versus rotation, we can handle these guys in 7. 5, I would be a little more concerned because anything can happen in a 5-game series. We've seen that. Speaking of the next team we're going to talk about. But yeah, no, a 7-game series, I'm supremely confident in this team. But it'll be interesting to see because, like you said, you can't count them out. They have too much talent to count them out.
And I want to play them. I want to play the best. Like let's run through the best. And speaking of the best, this is the team that I think is the biggest threat. Coming up after the break, we are going to discuss it.